Hello and welcome to Froch on Fighting. My name is Carl Froch, a former unified super middleweight world champion, and I promised a special guest. Here he is, Ricky the Hitman Hatton, former two-weight world champion, can I just say, and recently inducted, and very well deserved, if I do say so myself, into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm great, Carl. Good to speak to you, pal.
Yeah, you too. How did you find the whole Canastota experience for the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I thought it was incredible, to be honest with you. I mean, I went a few years back. I think it was about 2008 or something like that. And it was, and I went just as a boxing fan. Little did I know that several years on that I would be getting inducted. And I think I speak for most fighters, yourself included. I mean, we never dreamt we'd become world champions, and we did. But I mean, to get that phone call from the Hall of Fame, when I was lacing my gloves on that council estate in Manchester, 10 years of age, lacing them on for the first time, I never thought my name would be alongside some of the biggest names in our sport. No, it's got to be up there with one of the best things I've done in my career.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling. You get your hand cast in stone, don't you? You're sitting around legends. Was Roberto Duran out there? Apparently he goes every year.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't, to be honest with you. But I mean, let alone all the champions that were being inducted, which was great, to be around them. But a lot of the former champions do actually go, to be honest with you. And it's like you'd walk into your local pub, go, "Hiya, Steve, hiya, Si, hiya, Cliff, hiya, Nigel." You know what I mean? The kind of stuff is just like walking into the room, and it's just like being in your local with all the greats and all your heroes and everything like that. It was incredible. And going back to Roberto Duran, when I first went in the museum to actually see me plaque for the first time on the wall, it brought a bit of a tear to my eye, because they had the little plaques on the wall there, don't they? And it had mine there, and I'd next door but one. I was next to Roberto Duran.
Really?
Absolutely brought a bit of a tear to my eye. I thought, never thought, you'd be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And certainly not having my plaque a foot away from Roberto Duran's. Jeez.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I can remember seeing Roy Jones Jr. and thinking to myself, Roy Jones Jr. You know what I mean? Like, just unbelievable. And all the, obviously you got Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran, which we spoke about, but it's an amazing feeling. And it's your Hall of Fame induction. I mean, it could have come sooner as far as I'm concerned, but it was always going to happen. It's thoroughly deserved. I can remember sitting in 2005 as a British and Commonwealth champion, I would have been, in my friend's flat in Nottingham. 2005, I'd been a pro 3 years, but I was British and Commonwealth. Beat Charles Damon for the Commonwealth. Then I fought Damon Hague for the British in about 2004. I can remember watching you against Tszyu, and you forced him to retire on his stool. And that was just a night. I mean, is that one of your biggest memories? It's certainly a night I'll never forget.
I think it was my biggest win, and because Kostya was such a global figure in the sport. It was, I think he's up there with one of the best amateurs he's ever been. I think his record was like 250 amateur fights, lost 5 or something like that. And I think, not only was it, I was a massive underdog. I don't think nobody expected me to beat him. I think he was ranked number 2 pound for pound, the number 1 in my weight division. No one expected me to beat him, but to win it in Manchester and have a champion so formidable, sort of like quitting his stool and say no more. But he was a global figure, not just he was known all over the world of boxing, and I think that's what opened the door for me to then go and fighting in the United States. I think they look and thought, who's this little fat Guinness drinking Englishman who's made Kostya quit on his stool? Here, we'll have a bit of that. And then that's what opened up to, I had 5 fights in the United States, with the Mayweather, the Pacquiao, Malignaggi, Urango, Castillo. But I think because I beat Kostya, I think if I hadn't beat someone as globally known as him, in the manner I did it, I think it might have took me a bit longer to go. But that's what opened the door for me fighting in the States. So it's a big win for me in more ways than one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic win. Does it bother you looking back now, the way you beat him in pulling out? I mean, it's just come to me then, because sometimes you want a conclusive, even though you got to him, you took the best he had and you fought back in a great fight, and then you was really getting to him, starting to really hammer him around the body and head and backing him up. You beat him up, and really, you're not. For me, it's a TKO. Even though he cut on his stall, does it bother you that he didn't come out on the stall, or was you relieved on the night, and then you look back after and say, "Oh, I wish I'd have stopped him," as in.
I was just happy that he didn't come out, to be honest.
Happy he didn't come out. I can imagine that feeling. He's not come off his stall.
No, to be honest with you, I thought it couldn't have gone any more perfect, to be honest with you, because, you could see in the corner, Kostya was he was shaking his head. No.
Absolutely. No, he was finished. He was finished.
Yeah, and I think his trainer was in agreement with him trying to stop the fight. And I think of a couple of the Russian part of the team was saying, "No, come on, you're all right, you're all right." And his trainer, the old guy with glasses, he was a lovely guy. I can't remember his name, but I think to have your greatest win in your hometown, and to have it against a champion as formidable as Kostya, who was such a punching machine, and then I think if it had got him in the second round with my famous left hook to the body or something like that, and it knocked him out, I don't think that would have been an even better win than. Because it was where it was and the fight it was. He went back and forward. He went 11 rounds. And for someone like that on his stool to sort of like go, no more.
Yeah,
no
I've
more.
had enough. I've had enough.
And I think I just got my nose in front, Cal, to be honest with you. I mean, I started off quick and then he settled into like the middle parts of the round. But then bit by bit, I was sapping his strength, leaning on him, was sinking my shots to the body and that. And the last few rounds, I could feel him each round getting, weaker and weaker and weaker. So, yeah, and then after the fight, the sportsmanship, I grabbed the mic and thanked him, for giving me the opportunity and what a champion he's been. And he grabbed the mic and said, "If you need any help in the future, Ricky, I'll always be there for you." And, if you could write it down how you wanted your best night to be, I don't think it could have gone any better for me, mate.
No, it's awesome. Awesome. Listen, there's a lot of fans, a lot of followers and subscribers to this YouTube channel, Froch on Fight, and they'll be watching this. There's like 20-year-olds there was like probably like 10 years old when I boxed Groves, because it was 10 years ago. It's amazing how fast time goes. So I urge all of my subscribers to go and stick on Ricky Hatton, Kostya, have a look at that fight, watch it in its entirety. What a fight. And this man I'm talking to here, Ricky Hatton, the Hall of Famer, he thoroughly deserves the Hall of Fame. And that fight was a fight that if you've not watched, you need to go and watch it. If you consider yourself a boxing fan and you've not seen it, go back and watch it. So anyway, that's enough said on that. Congratulations on that, Ricky, and the Hall of Fame. I wanted to ask you, do you keep your eye in with boxing? Do you still watch the boxing? I know you're a big Man City fan, but are you still on the Man City or?
Oh, yeah, big Man City fan, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'm getting a little bit greedy now as a Man City fan. I think we broke the record this year for 4 consecutive Premiership, 4 consecutive titles won on the bounce, but we got beat in the FA Cup final by Man United the week after, which was a bit disappointing. And then we got beat by Real Madrid. And, I was thinking treble again. I mean, years ago, we were in the second division. We were absolutely crap, you know what I mean? And now City fans, we're not happy when we just win the Premier League. That's how greedy we've got. But no, I am. And I do watch the boxing, the big fights. I wish a few more bigger fights would be made, and I think we've got a better chance now. Turkey Sheikh has got involved. He's making the promoters work together, and he's, he's not just having the fights in Saudi Arabia. He's going to take them to the US and take them to the UK. So I think,
hopefully,
I think that's good for boxing, mate. And I think we needed it. All these shit fights that are happening, now. And I don't blame anyone. If the money's there for them, you go for it. But I think our sport, as an old school fight fan, still. I think the best fights need to be made, and they wasn't being made, were they, until recently? And I think Turkey Sheikh has had a lot to do with that. It's really helped out our sport, because I think today the throwbacks. I think myself, yourself, Carl, Frank Bruno, Nigel Benn, Joe Kawasaki, that wanted to fight the best and wanted to fight for the world titles. Now people who fail the weight, not bothered about the title as long as they can gain an advantage, and they'll probably rather fight a YouTuber and like that. I think, listen, if you want to go down that road, no judgment intended, but I think for the sake of our boxing sport, I think the best fights need to be. They can have their fights if the best fights are made in boxing. And I think we're just starting to see that a little bit with Turkey Sheikh, which what he's trying to do for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's good that he's bringing it back to England as well, because it'd be a
Yeah,
shame if all the big
absolutely. Yeah.
fights, if all the big fights were out there with the lack of atmosphere and the fact that culturally they're not really into the sport,
Yeah.
it'd kill
And I
it.
think,
It's
to be
nice
honest
that
with you,
coming
if
in.
we're going to have Tyson and AJ, great what the Sheik's doing, but it's got to be in England.
I
It's
agree.
got to be in England.
It's got to be. I agree totally. It'd be nice to get that. I mean, I'm assuming you watched the Fury Usyk fight. What did you make of that?
I did. I didn't think there was much in it. To be honest, I think the best man won. By a couple of rounds. I think for the rematch, I think it's important. They're both clever thinking fighters. You won't get better thinking fighters than Tyson Fury, Alexander. They're so clever. You know what I mean? And it'll be a case of who's learned the most from the first fight that can carry the changes into the second fight. I think the second fight, I like to see him sort the corner out a little bit more. I mean, it doesn't matter. We all have our different views on boxing, but I think whether you've been a boxer or you're a head coach or anything like that, I think we'll all agree there's got to be one voice in the corner. And I think it was a little bit like Spaghetti Junction that night for Tyson, which wouldn't have, he was getting advice, from from here, there, and everywhere. I think that's the one thing they need to sort out, and I think that'll help Tyson. But I just think fight a little bit like the bigger man. Hold your feet a bit more. You can still box on the back foot, but instead of running away where he's not getting the leverage in his punches because he's backpedaling that quick, you're the bigger man. Go backwards, but hold your feet and hit him hard as he's coming. I think because when he did do that and he hit him with the uppercut and he wobbled him, I think that's because he had his feet planted a bit more. But he was running away, and for someone who's considerably smaller than Tyson to be bullying him all over the ring like that, I think for the next fight, I think if he can alter that a little bit, I think that will stand him in good stead.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense in being on his back foot.
No,
I suppose that's a testament to how good Usyk is to be able to
absolutely,
fake him and put him there. But you're right.
When he's made him do that, he's very clever.
When Fury held his feet and threw that right uppercut and that right hook, and he was standing there, but that takes fitness, doesn't it? I don't think he quite had that fitness, Fury. Maybe he didn't. What do you make of him saying that he thought he'd won the fight and he's watched it back? Do you think he's being a bit cheeky and a bit like just a bit of bravado, or do you think he believes he won?
I think so. I think it was close. You know what I mean? But I think the fair man won. I think he's turned around and saying, I don't know if Tyson's spitting his dummy out a little bit or trying to influence the judges for the rematch when he's saying that he doesn't think he could get a result in Saudi. I don't know why that's true. Tyson's from the UK, Alexander's from the Ukraine. It's in Saudi Arabia. I don't see where there's an advantage as far as the judging goes there.
No, I agree.
But no, I just think, I think Tyson's capable of winning the rematch if he just tweaks a little few things like that, like I said, in the corner, and then just holding his feet a little bit more than that. But I think Tyson and me, I'd like to think I'm part of Team Fury. I think the one thing is that Alexander, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed. There's no cleverer fighter out there. Then if Tyson's clever, Usyk is exactly on the same level there.
Yeah, he tends to be able to up it, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I think it being a very, very, very close fight again. But I think I certainly think Tyson's capable of winning it.
Yeah, I agree. He can do it. He can do it, but he's got Usyk in front of him who adapts, doesn't he? If he has a bad round, he comes back and then has a good round, and you think, how's he able? And he always finishes strong as well, Usyk. Even championship rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, and 12, he seems to be able to up the pace if he needs to. He did it with AJ, finished strong, didn't he?
Yeah, and for the smaller man, you know what I mean? I think if Tyson can maybe, hit him hard from a distance, hit him hard as he's coming in, and then when he does get close, just lean on him a little bit more to sap him.
Yeah.
To sap his strength a little bit more. And, because, I mean, the way the fight went, the first fight, it was nip and tuck. It was a little bit like a chess match, Tyson was backpedaling and like that. But I think he can use his size to his advantage a little bit more. By sitting in there and leaning on him a little bit, hitting him a little bit harder as he's pushing him back. Little things like that if he alters. And I think that could make the distance. But I mean, thing is with Usyk, he's so clever. Whatever, he always seems to find a way to win. He's clever. He always seems to find a way, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Well, sticking with the heavyweights, moving on from that, you've got AJ Dubois looking likely to be announced over the next couple of days. Maybe tomorrow that'll be announced. What do you reckon to that one?
I think it's a belting one, to be honest with you. I think we've been wanting the main heavyweight fight we've wanted is obviously Tyson and AJ.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for that for 10 years, going back to the, which was a little bit worrying that the big fights weren't being made. You know what I mean? And that most certainly was one of them. But and I hope we've not lost it. I think to myself, if Usyk beats Tyson again, will he retire? We'll never see the AJ fight again. But I think I think AJ has improved so much. He's gone with Ben Davison. He's improved so much. He's in a good camp. I mean, I was in an holiday with Tenerife when AJ fought Usyk, and I don't know who's in the corner with him at the time. I think he had an American team with him in the corner, and and he had like a mini breakdown, didn't he? He was threatening someone, and he threw the ring into the crowd, and he got the mic, and he had that half an hour rant with himself. I was in Tenerife. I was going, somebody put their arm around him, get him in the corner, get back in the change room. Come on, AJ, So I was a bit worried for his career back then, but his mind's on now. His head's back on now. He's performing better than ever. To be honest, so is Daniel Dubois. He's had a few little stumbling blocks, you know what I mean? And, one against Usyk with a low blow, and then he got beat by Joy.
He got
beat. He got a little stick for that. But his last couple of fights, he's performed well. And if we can't have AJ as a domestic fight fan, if we can't have AJ and Tyson just yet, you know what I mean? Tyson's fighting Usyk, and AJ and Dubois is the best fight out there for AJ, I think. And for both of them, I think. It's a great domestic.
I think it's a good fight.
I think AJ would be expected the way he's been performing lately, and because of common opponents and stuff, like that. But Daniel Dubois been performing well lately. He's well capable of landing one, and winning.
That could be the significant thing in that. If he lands a shot, if he manages to get AJ, if he gets put under manners, if you like, early doors, and AJ takes the centre of the ring and starts to control him, I think he runs away with AJ on experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
If Dubois catches him with that big power, AJ, I still think he could be accused of still being a little bit tentative since his losses. I know he's come back with Elenius and Otto Wallin, and he beat that MMA fighter Ngannou, but there's no real wins there that make me say, right, that's a great win. He'll go in there and he'll wipe the floor with Dubois. Dubois comes in letting shots go.
He's had a couple of good confidence boosters for him, hasn't it? And it's been nice to see as a British fight fan. You know what I mean? We needed him, because at first I thought to myself, he's never going to come back from this. Sometimes the way he was performing, but he has done, like you say, no real major massive wins of note, but yeah, you think he'd go into that, a little bit confident. He's looking a little bit more relaxed.
Excited.
He looks in a happy place now.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think Dubois starts going in there, letting shots go, and AJ's on his back foot a bit, getting caught with a few. All of a sudden, he knows he's in a fight.
Yeah, you sort of like favour AJ, but you wouldn't put your last pound on it, would you?
No, you wouldn't. Definitely not. Right, okay. When I get people on, I always like to do a quick 12 rounds. So now we're going to do 12 rounds with Ricky Hatton. I'm going to start with number 1. Night in or night out? I think I know the answer to this one already.
Night out.
Night out for Ricky Hatton. I don't know why I thought you like a night out. Favourite moment as a Man City fan?
Winning the league for the first time in 40 years. Sergio Aguero with the last kick of the game.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fantastic. Most memorable fight you were involved in? I think we've talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah, Ricky. Yeah, mine versus Kostya. Yeah.
That's a great fight as well. And Adam Smith commentating on that one, losing the plot as well. Proper boxing fan, isn't he, Adam Smith?
Yeah.
Right. Prime Mayweather, prime Pacquiao. Who wins?
I think Floyd Mayweather. I mean, it's hard. Pacquiao did knock me out in 2 rounds, but I think my too many miles on the clock at the time. I think that but I think Mayweather. I did think the referee did give him a little bit of help, but he was something else. It's the first time I've sat down in the change rooms and thought, wow, he was good. Yeah.
Really? So you think Mayweather does Pacquiao even prime?
Mayweather, yeah.
Right. Tony Bellew, my mate Bomber Bellew, give me a good answer to this one. So I hope you can match it. Fill in the blank. Carl Froch is
Warrior.
Warrior. You know what? Single word answer. I like that. I'll take that. A warrior. I'll take that from the hitman. One thing you love about boxing?
I I used to love the training camps. Training camps and being
you
there.
know what? I got that feeling when you was training. You love it. I used to like getting fit for the fight, but I used to think
Yeah,
you
I
loved
used to
it
love
too
it.
fucking
You know,
much. Why do you love it so much? You loved it, didn't you?
I
Well,
just loved the training, and you know what? Because I always give myself a fucking mountain to climb, me, didn't I?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
you
So
did.
when I got there and I got my weight off and I was in great shape and I
Yeah,
still had the stamina and still had the strength, you know what I mean? It was like I knew how hard I'd have to work. I didn't make it easier for me. I did it with one hand tied behind my back, but there's when you see the effort that you know you and the shape you got yourself in and the
yeah,
sacrifice you put yourself to, I just used to look at them across the ring card and think, you're not beating me tonight. The
yeah,
shit you've made me go through. You know?
yeah. Did you put yourself through that a little bit when you fought Marco Antonio Barrera in that exhibition you did? Did you have a proper go?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah.
Fair play to you for doing that. Right, we've done one thing you love about boxing. One thing you hate about boxing.
I don't know. I think sometimes just the politics. Just
Yeah,
you know, just sometimes, you know, and the big fights that can't be made into, you know what I mean? I take pride in, you know, I fought Kostya, then I fought Mauser, then I moved up, fought Canazzo, then I moved back down, fought Urango, then Castillo, then Mayweather, then you know what I mean? There was and I think the best should be made to fight the best a little bit more. And sometimes they're not. And I think that's what upsets me with the sport a little bit, you know, and the fact that we might have lost AJ and Fury if these next fights don't go the way we hope. I think that's a shame. I think that's what lets the sport down today. Because I mean, a few years ago, when there's only one champion, Carl, you know, you had to fight. That's how you become the best.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier, didn't we, about Turkey Al Sheikh talking about doing the league. So maybe that's a bit of a UFC
I think that's the way forward,
league.
mate. Yeah.
So if that happens, then that will get rid of that, won't it? Right, number 8, round 8. Anthony Joshua knocks out Tyson Fury. Agree or disagree?
Well,
Right,
that's a tight
right
one
now.
to answer now. Because even though I think Tyson can win the rematch, I do think there's a few miles on the clock now.
No, not Usyk,
AJ.
AJ Tyson Fury. So Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. What I'm saying is, does AJ knock out Fury?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say so. Not quite. I think he might still know enough to keep out the way.
What's your karaoke song? Who's writing these questions? You might as well give us. You might as well give us.
Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West.
You've got that many. You didn't know which one to pick then, did you?
I know, that's right. But the one thing that is a guarantee, they're all shit.
I think I've heard you sang that fastest milkman in the West. I'm sure I've seen a clip of that on YouTube. How does it go, that one?
Ernie, they call him the fastest milkman in the West.
I know the one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing, so thanks for that. Right, 3 guests for dinner, dead or alive. Who would be your 3 guests that you'd want to get around the table?
I'd say Roberto Duran, my hero. Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, what a guy.
Gaza.
Gascoigne, yeah?
Yeah.
You must have met him a few times. I had a chat
I've
with him.
met Paul a few times, to be honest with you. He sends me a little text every now and again. He's funny, a funny guy. And it's nice to see him. He's looking good now. I mean, sometimes in the past, you know, he's not looked great. He's not been in a good place. But from recently, I think he's going through a good spell, Gaza. So long may it continue. He's a great guy. And every time I've been in his company, Carl, I just don't stop laughing. And I think I'm a bit of a funny fucker at times, but he blows me out of the water, to be honest with you. It's hilarious.
I saw him on a clip the other day doing a YouTube channel or a podcast with a couple of his fellow old colleagues, and he dropped some. He said a few things that made me. It tickled me. He was on about one of the affairs that one lad had, and some. Can you remember what he said?
No, was it something about, you know, would he have been looked after better if he went to Man United, didn't they? With Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, that's it.
And he said, well, Cantona jumped into the crowd and karate kicked someone, and the other ones we won't mention because I'm sure they want to forget about it. But he's just like that 24/7, mate.
Yeah, I get that about him. He is funny. Right, where are we? Favorite guest? Favorite film ever?
Favorite film ever? As a comedy, I would say Stir Crazy.
Oh, Stir Crazy, what a classic.
Yeah, it's hilarious, yeah. Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, you know.
Yeah,
See no evil, hear no evil. That was another
Yeah,
classic.
you know what? They
classic
make such a good duo, them pair, don't they?
Oh, the best.
You know what?
God rest their souls, eh?
Now you've just said that. I'm going to stick that one on Stir Crazy for my son because I've got him watching all the old films. My son Rocco. I'm going to stick that one on now. Stir
Oh,
Crazy.
they're timeless. They're just funny. They're just funny. They don't have to say anything to be funny. You just look at them.
When they're banged up in jail at the beginning and then trying to get out, and Richard Pryor's scared to death, and he starts giving it the kung fu. That Gene. Anyway,
Yeah. When he walks down,
out.
what are you doing? I'm getting bed. You don't get
That'll
bed,
be
you're going to get foot.
I'm definitely sticking that on later. Right, 12th and final round, mate. Who's your favourite ever fighter? I think I know the answer to that one.
My
as well.
favourite ever fighter was Roberto Duran.
Roberto Duran.
And I just liked him. He fought for his people, the people of Panama, because Panama was going through a tough time at the time with the United States, and he fought for his people, you know, and he was fearless. He fought all comers, you know what I mean? He moved up in weight, he moved down in weight, you know what I mean? He come back from that no mask fight, which would have been very, very hard for him. And like I mentioned earlier, Cal, when I had my plaque next ball but one to him in the Boxing Hall of Fame, I put it up on my Instagram. I went, oh, shed a tear. I said, I can't believe I'm next door but one foot away from my hero, Roberto Duran. And he messaged me on Instagram.
Oh, did they?
I mean, yeah, I don't know who your hero is, mate, but you know, when he sends you little texts from time to time and stuff like that, oh my Lord, that's like going in the Hall of Fame on its own for me. But yeah,
absolutely.
Roberto Duran was my favourite.
Yeah, the one thing, the lasting memory for me for the Hall of Fame is Duran, but not so much just Duran. Looking around and seeing, because I took my coach, Rob McCracken, he's a big boxing fan. He doesn't say a great deal, Rob. He keeps a lot of stuff to himself. He plays his cards close to his chest. Everything is quite reserved. But I looked round and he was smiling and laughing, and he was chatting to Roberto Duran around the museum. And I just thought, I'm so glad I bought Rob, because I was going to take my missus, then I was going to take one of my mates, and I thought, what am I doing? I've got to take Rob. So I took McCracken. Yeah. When I look around and see him at the breakfast talking to Riddick Bowe, and then the next day when I see him chatting to Roberto Duran, I just thought that's made my week. That night, the fact that
I don't know what it is, Cal. I mean, he's he's my personal favourite, but I just seen that whenever, even when I've seen him at WBC conventions and stuff like that. Everyone seems to, everyone have their own little favourites, but everyone seems to make a beeline for him. I think it's his personality and obviously not just what he stood for and his style and the fights he was in. I think everyone has a little bit of a soft spot for Roberto Duran because he was a larger than life character, wasn't he? You know what I mean?
He was, yeah.
And I think to myself, I always make a beeline for him, but I look round and everyone like that, he seems to have that little bit of magic dust around him. I don't know what.
Yeah, he's almost the biggest. He's the biggest name, isn't he, when you're out there?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah,
that name's up. It's got to be top three with anybody's top boxer.
Absolutely,
They'll say Muhammad Ali, then I think Roberto Duran's up there with him. It's just that name. What did you make of him against Ray Leonard in that rematch when the no mask? What did you make of that? Was that just pure frustration?
Well, it's very, when we mentioned, what's the thing that you don't like about boxing? Sometimes it's politics, isn't it? And with Roberto Duran, when he won the title, he's never had anything, never had no money, never had anything, grew up, sleeping on the floors in Panama, robbing, no food to put on the table. And then all of a sudden he won the title, he's got this money and, he's had the biggest win of his career against Leonard. And he beat him. He wants to go out and celebrate and it. But then, before you know it, I think he got the date dropped on him. After 7 or 8 weeks.
So his head wasn't on it.
So his head's not on it. He's struggling to make the weight. Sugar Ray Leonard unopposed, unlike the first fight where they stood and had it out. He
kept out his way.
Yeah, he sort of like belittled him a little bit and everything like that. And there's no quitting Roberto Duran. I think he's just sort of like gone two fingers. No, you're not fighting me. I haven't got the gears. I've struggled out the weight. And just the fact that yourself, Carl, if you struggle if fighters struggle at the weight like I did, they couldn't have dropped it on me at 6 or 7 weeks. I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what it is. So, he's beaten. He's beaten before a belly even goes. And, when you think to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, with 12, 14 weeks preparation would have been hard enough.
Yeah, I think that no mass and him quitting and just basically saying fuck off. If you're not going to stand and fight me, I've had a bad camp anyway.
That's what it was.
That makes him more. It makes him more that guy that I love. That's what makes me love him more.
And the thing is, the people of Panama turned on him.
I know they did.
You've let us down. You've let us down. You let us down. You know what I mean? And they were ransacking his house and standing, making protests outside. Disgrace and this and that. And then he made a comeback, and they only said, no, you're not making it. We don't want to know Roberto Duran. Don't want to know Roberto Duran. He said, well, we'll put him on this show. He's a quitter. We'll put him on this show, but he's got to fight Davy Moore. No warm up, no nothing. Davy Moore or no one else. And he was a young 26-year-old undefeated champion, and they put him in there to get a kick in, and he turned it round, won the fight, and then the Panama people were behind him again, which was nice to see. It's more of a. Absolutely. I mean, we love him for his fighting style as fighters and stuff like that, but there was a bigger story behind Roberto Duran, with the no mass and what happened with his people, the people of Panama and everything like that. There's a film of him called Hands of Stone. You want to watch it? It's fantastic, mate.
No, brilliant film. It's all. Yeah, it's just a great film. If you've not seen that, or the younger audience again that are watching, go and have a look at Roberto Duran and have a look at that.
Absolutely,
film. What a film. But anyway, Ricky, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations again in your induction into the Hall of Fame.
Good to speak to you again. Hope to see you soon, pal.
I'm in Manchester in a few weeks, hopefully. So I'll give you a bell, and it'd be nice to get you on a karaoke. If you anything going on in Manchester, we'll go out for a drink or we'll get a bit of lunch or something. But I'm going to be up there, so if I give you a shout,
absolutely, mate.
But thanks again 100%. For today. Appreciate it. See you soon.
Nice one, Carl. Speak soon,
Take care, mate.
So, man.
Cheers. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting. How good was that? Ricky Hatton, the Hitman, recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. Comes on the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting. Thanks for joining us, Ricky. And this episode is brought to you by Cobra Casino. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And soon we will be doing a little response video to the announcement. Anthony Joshua, I think it's going to be against Daniel Dubois. Hopefully we're getting that in England at Wembley Stadium as well. So hit the notification bell, and as soon as the video gets put out there on YouTube, you will be notified. I'll see you next time.